Ramblin' Gamer coming at you guys today with another episode of Kaiju Corner, where we talk about kaiju related material that you may not have heard of or at the very least looked into. Today we're talking about an animated short film from 2005, Negadon The Monster from Mars. If you have yet to see Negadon, go watch it. It's less than a half hour long, and it's damn well worth it. An animated film, Negadon tries to capture the old school Showa-style monster movie feel, and for the most part, it succeeds. It's really unfortunate that we haven't seen more things like this in the recent years, as this sort of stuff is what most kaiju fans go nuts for. So let's jump right into this thing. The storyline for this is simple. Yada 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 future jargon went to Mars, found something on Mars. We shouldn't have taken it from Mars, but we brought it back to Earth anyway, and it turned out to be a giant monster that started attacking Japan. But thankfully, some old dude has a robot and he's going to use it to fight said monster. It's a half an hour long, what the hell did you expect? Monster shows up, military proves useless. Robot shows up, the two duke it out. There's your storyline. Okay, so we have a few characters to talk about. Let's start with the obvious, the Negadon. As a monster, it doesn't have a lot of personality. In fact, it has less personality than the giant monster from Giant Monster did. It's not here to eat you or anything like that, it just generally likes to blow shit up. And thankfully, that's where this monster shines. Despite having the feel of a good old Showa film, the Negadon is nothing like a Showa monster. Honestly, the Negadon looks like a mobile armor from the Gundam anime. No legs, it hovers, it has tentacles, and while it has lots of little red eyes, it has one large distinct one, giving it that classic Zeon Cyclops feel. Also, did I mention this thing has a full arsenal of energy attacks? Okay, well not really, it's only like 2 or 3, but it uses them all the time, and that is awesome. I mean, seriously, with being able to shoot lasers out of each of its tentacles, this thing would fit in very well with a lot of the 90s monsters. On the other hand, the Moroku isn't as appealing as what the Negadon is. As far as giant robots go, its look is pretty basic. And I'll be honest, I prefer the basic look in functional weapons as compared to some of the more ridiculous things that have come out of Japan. Anyway, on to the actual character, Narasaki. Narasaki's an old man, and this also breaks the norm for Japan. Oh my god, you mean it's not a teenager piloting the robot? What's wrong with you? This probably goes to show that the people that made this are more into monsters than they are giant robots, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, without ruining too much, Narasaki used to have a passion of wanting to build robots for all sorts of purposes. Apparently he watched a lot of Patlabor. But an accident happens, he loses his motivation, but luckily for us, he does have one completed robot when our big armored Zeon tentacle monster friend finally shows up. The atmosphere for this one is really fun, and it puts me in a good mood. The story's basic, it's a homage to an older generation of film, and like I said in the beginning, despite being an animated film, and the monster being nothing like a Showa monster, this does feel like a Showa film. I mean, aside from there not being a piss-ass annoying kid running around trying to befriend the Negadon. But yes, this does feel like one of those good old late-night creature features from back in the day. The ending isn't bad at all. Perhaps a bit predictable, though again I'm not sure what you would have expected from a movie with a less than 30-minute runtime. It was pretty satisfying with the way the movie went. We get a little bit of an explanation for why the monster was on Mars. We know why Narasaki has a giant robot, there's no cliffhanger, and you're not left really wondering anything. Obviously, I got a lot of personal enjoyment out of this one. It's hard for me to find anything wrong with Negadon, other than I could say that the animation for it kind of hasn't held up in the last few years. Yeah, I know there's still some scenes in it that look amazing, and when it first came out, it looked freaking gorgeous, but there are things you look at now and you're just like, yeah, that's old animation. Final verdict? If you're a fan of giant monsters, give Negadon a watch. I mean, you can find it right here on YouTube, and it's less than a half hour of your time. And that's time damn well spent. It's very hard to argue with this logic. Well guys, this has been Ramblin' Gamer with Kaiju Corner. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you're interested, check out some of my other Kaiju related material. I'll have some annotations up, so you can go and look at some of my other videos. Till next time, watch out for bears!